Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to continue our discussion on multiple linear regression. Let's have a quick review of what we have discussed so far about the least square lines. Okay, we said that the least square lines represent what happened here. Okay, the least square lines represent the difference between your observed value. So this is your actual value and your predicted value. Your predicted value is the value generated by our regression line, which is, we know this, that the predicted value, and we call it y sub I, y sub I hat, y hat is equal to the intercept. Okay, let me just call it, okay, beta null plus your beta 1 times your actual that times your actual value of your x. Okay, so your predicted value is equal to the intercept plus the slope multiplied by the x. So this is your predicted value. Okay, and then if we compare it with your observed value, your actual value y sub I, and then compare subtract your predicted value, okay, you get your residual. You get your error term. Okay, which is this one. Okay, and then we said that the model for linear regression model is based on the computation of, let me just clear our drawings. It's based on the computation of the squares of the residuals. So what we do is we square the residuals. Again, so our residuals squared, okay, and then we sum them up. We sum them up, okay, which is actually equal to the sum, right? The sum of your actual value minus your predicted value, which is, our predicted value is your beta null minus your beta 1 multiplied by x sub I. All right, and then everything is squared. So this is your residual class, right? This is your residual. It's your actual value minus, okay, this is your predicted value. So it's minus beta null minus the beta 1 times x sub I. Okay, we're subtracting it because the equation is like this, right? Y sub I minus the predicted, and the predicted is your beta null plus your beta 1 times x sub I. Okay, so we just distribute the negative sign there. And then what we do with this one is, this is your residual, and then we square this. Okay, and then we sum it up, and then we get the minimum. Okay, we get the minimum of this. Others call this the loss function. Okay, L. So sometimes you will see that L is equal to the summation of this term. Okay, this term. They term it as L, or it's called the loss function. It's a difference between your actual value or observed value minus your predicted value. And what we want to do is to minimize this loss function, minimize your squared residuals. Okay, so let me pause for a while. Does that make sense, class? Kindly chat, please, if that makes sense. And the term that sometimes is used, letter L, to signify, it's also called the loss function, because you're getting the difference, you're getting the residuals, or the difference between your observed minus your predicted, and then we're squaring it. Okay, we're squaring that. And the reason why we get the squared is that the sum of the residuals will just equal to 0. So we will not be able to do anything about that. So that's why we square this, and this amount will always be positive, and we would want to minimize that. All right, I have your your comment, class, your feedback, if what I said is clear. Okay, thank you. How about the others? Okay. Any questions so far, class? Any concept there you'd like to for me to clarify? So let me rewrite that. It's simply minimize your, this is minimize your L. Okay, your loss function, or minimize the summation of this one, the square value of this one. Okay, so to do that, class, you have to use some calculus, but that's really easy to compute. Using calculus, we will be able to compute for the beta null and the beta 1. So the objective is to find the values of your beta null and the beta 1, which are your unknowns here. Because y sub I is known, x sub I is known. These are known quantities. These are known values. What is unknown are your beta null and your beta 1. So you can solve for this using calculus, and okay, and we are able to, I'll show you in a while what are the values of beta null and beta 1. When you use R, you're able to get the values of beta 0 and beta 1, but behind that, what's being used is this one. How is it computed? By using the loss function and minimizing it, and using calculus. Okay, minimization, this is a minimization problem. So you can find the values of beta null and beta 1 that will minimize this loss function. And for this solution, for this particular data set, your y's and your x's, how many regression line or how many line of best fit will you be able to generate? How many, class? Kindly chat, please. What's your answer? How many regression lines will be the line of best fit? Okay, thank you, Frederick. How about the others? Yes, very good. Only one. So it means that the regression line or the line of best fit, okay, is a unique line. So there is only one particular value of beta null and beta 1. Okay, only one unique value for beta null and beta 1 given the specific set of values for your y and your x. So which means that if you have different values of y and x, then of course you'll come up with different values of beta null and beta 1. Okay, so continuing, class, what are the properties of the regression line? Okay, we said that the regression line will always pass through the center of gravity, or the center of the mass point. So if we have this, suppose we have this, let me just illustrate. Okay, you have these points. Okay, the regression line will always, yes, Mary, there's a question here.
Sir, is it possible for you to resend the properties of the
Sige.
Thank
Okay,
you.
sige. All right, thank you. So let me, okay. Let me clear drawings first, and okay, so for the properties, okay, I'm sending through the chat. Are you referring to this one, Mary?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sige. Tapos this one also, the slope, the sign of the slope, Control
Yes,
C.
sir.
Let's quickly review that very quickly lang. Okay, so going back, class, to my explanation. So we have, let's say this is our, okay, we have a few points here. Let's just assume that these are our points. This is your y. This is your x. Sorry, let me use my digital pen. So this is my x. Okay. So each point here, this is your y, yi, xi, right? Each of the points here. These are known values, your y's and your x. So, of course, if we know y and we know x, we will know the value of the x average, x bar, and your y average. Okay, so this is what we call the center of the mass, or center of, quote unquote, sometimes they call it center of gravity. So let's suppose that the x average is this one, a y average is this one, and this is your x average, this point here, x average. So this now is your, should have used another color. This one, this is your, this one is x bar, y bar. Okay, so that's the middle, that's the average of x and your average of y. And your regression line will always, without fail, okay, it will always pass through that one there. It will always contain your x bar and your y bar. And we know that this height is your beta null. This is your intercept. And this regression line has a slope equal to, the slope is beta 1, and this is 1. Rise over run. Okay. The rise over run is your slope. Okay, and that's the equation of the regression line, which, again, let me write that, y sub height, y hat is equal to your beta null plus your beta 1 times x sub I. So this is your predicted value of y. You can write a hat here to signify that these are estimated. These are the predicted values or estimated values, or the regression values. Okay, this is your specific value of your x. All right, and we also said last time that the slope will be, okay, we'll have the same sign as, let me once again delete this. Sorry if I have to clear the drawings. Okay, by the way, class, this one, okay, this one we discussed also before. Let me just review that. We said that in your regression, in our line of best fit, okay, y sub I, okay, will always be equal to beta null plus beta 1 x sub I, okay, and these are your predicted values. Okay, now since all the points, class, in your regression line will follow this equation, okay, and we said that the mean of y and the mean of x will always be part of your regression line. So we can write this as your y hat, we can replace it with y bar, okay, and I'm going to drop down I, because your y bar is the average for all your data points, and it's equal to beta null plus beta 1. So your beta null is also, this is your computed value. Your beta 1 is also your computed value. And your x, class, your x, okay, your x is your average value, okay. So since in your regression line, it will touch the, okay, this is your value of x bar, y bar, okay. So this is your x bar, y bar, okay. And since it's in the regression line, it will you can substitute the x and y's there, right? And this one can be rewritten as this one, okay. It's beta null is equal to, okay, we can transpose this one to the other side. So you have your y bar minus your beta sub I hat times x bar. Okay, so that's where this came from. Okay, let me pause for a while. Any questions, class? Is that clear? Could I have your confirmation, class, that that is clear? Kindly chat, please. Okay, how about the others? Let me get confirmation from the others for a few more seconds. Okay, thank you. I hope the others are also able to get it. Okay, and the second one that we discussed is this one. Okay, we said the slope and the correlation will always have the same sign. Okay, so I will not discuss anymore the concept of correlation, but it's just a measure of the association of your variables. Okay, how strong the direction and the magnitude of their relationship. Okay, so here we can deduce that your slope, okay, your slope, this is your slope, right, is related to your correlation by, okay, by what? The proportion of your, this is your, what's this, class? This is your, class, what's this? Okay, correct. That's a standard deviation of your y divided by the standard deviation of your x. And we know that the standard deviation is equal to what? Standard deviation is equal to, if you recall, the standard deviation of y is x y minus y bar, okay, squared over n minus 1, right? So that's your sy. Okay, and your sx is equal to x minus x bar squared over n minus 1, right? So we can actually replace this by correlation times y minus y bar. And sorry, there's a square with this one, right? There has to be a square root there. Okay, if we divide this, then the square root of n minus 1 will cancel out. Okay, so there has to be a square root here, square root over square root of x minus x bar squared. So sometimes you'll see this formula. Okay, but for us, we're not really into the formulas because we're going to use R. But it's also good to know, class, that your slope is a function of your correlation. So this tells us that the slope and the correlation are related in such a way because this will always be positive, this will always be positive. So if your correlation is negative, then your slope will be negative. If your correlation is positive, then your slope will always be positive. Okay, just a quick review of what we discussed before. All right, so let's hurry up and go to our main lesson for today. Okay, I think I haven't, this one I'll share with you again. Okay, we have already discussed this, that the sum of the residuals is equal to 0. All right, then, okay, we're going to use some packages today. All right, so these are the packages which I'm not sure if we have already installed: Psych, HMISC, Bloom, Tidyverse, Paystex. So I'd like you to load this in a different way. Okay, you first install the packages pacman and then require pacman. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds to do this. Okay, and then once you're done, let's use this function p underscore load from the pacman package, and then, okay, load this. Now, what will this do? This will allow you to install the packages without having to use the install packages. So we're going to use the pload or package load function so that this is installed. And let's see. Okay, before you do this class, could you kindly check if you have a package called OLSRR? This one. Kindly check if you have installed this package OLSRR, and please just search it here in the packages, and then tell me if you have OLSRR. Except for those who were my students before, I'm sure you have that package, but the rest, I'm confident you haven't installed that. Feedback, please, class, if you have just a yes or no, if you have that package loaded in your computer. No, thank you. Okay, good. Wag niyo muna, don't load it first, no? We're going to load it via pacman. Okay, thank you. All right. So since I believe most of you do not have that package installed, now what you do first is to install pacman and require it. Okay. And once you have installed pacman, can you kindly please chat if you were able to do so? So you do this first, class. Once you have loaded pacman, kindly chat, please. Chat yes. Okay, good. Okay, let's wait for the others. All right, thank you. Okay, so now, so you do this, class. Will this run if you don't put pacman here? Yes, class. Yes. I just included this so that we know where this function is coming from. So pload or package load comes from the package pacman. And the pload will allow us to load this. And we will see, class, what will happen with OLSRR. Maybe for some of these packages, you have already installed it. Okay, but for OLSRR in particular, okay, let's see what happens. And so once you have run this, class, kindly check your package window, and then type again OLSRR and see if you have OLSRR and if it's already checked, if it has been already required. I'd like to get your feedback about that. Okay, thank you, Quina. So Quina, could you kindly share your answer to everyone? So, okay, Quina, can you kindly, okay, thank you. So in Quina's case, OLSRR is checked. How about in your case, class? When you loaded the package using the payload function, which we know was not yet installed. Okay, so with this function, you were able to install it and load it at the same time. Okay, let me wait for the feedback of others. Okay, the following is mask. Okay lang yung masking, no? Glenn, no problem with that. But Glenn, did you check if OLSRR is checked in your package library? Okay, kay Christian yun. Hindi siya nag-check, Glenn. Okay, that's interesting. Usually, if the package is not yet installed, and then we use the payload function, automatically it will install and then load at the same time. Okay, so medyo iba yung sa case mo, no? How about the others, class? Kay Christian, check na rin, ibig sabihin loaded na siya. Okay. Okay, when you get the message, just like Mary, paki-share. Class, when you share your answer, share it to everyone, wag lang sa akin, no? Kasi para mag-benefit din yung iba, no, sa experience nyo. So may comment dito si Athena. Athena yan, okay, sabi ni Athena, one or more of the packages to be updated are currently loaded. Restarting R prior to install is highly recommended. Okay, so pwede yan, class. You can restart. Pag nag-restart naman siya, ano pa rin, it will still revert to the file that you were working on. Okay, any other comment, class? Any other comment? Okay, so let's see. Now, I shared with you a file, yung wage.csv. So I think I have to save this file. Save as. Isa-save ko kasi wala siya sa ano eh. It's not in my. I have to put it in my R project, FINARTS. Okay, let me put here. January 25. Okay, save. So let me close this first. Okay, I'll open my file class inside the project because I didn't open it. I didn't open it before inside the project. So here, okay, so it's inside now my R project. Okay, so I'll open this, and I don't have the wage file there. Okay, if you can see, class, in our modules, I shared with you the wage file. Okay, so kindly download this. download, and I'm going to save it inside the R project. Okay. Here. So on inside FinArts project control B. Okay, and I'll explain why it's important that it should be inside your R project. Okay, so kindly please uh, inform me if you have already saved the wage file inside your FinArts project. Okay, thank you. Okay, good. Is it on CSR? What's CSR, Glenn? Glenn, what's on CSR? Yeah, CSV file. Yeah, it's a CSV file. Comma separated values. Okay. All right. I hope you have it, class. If you take a look at my screen, it's inside my FinArts K31 folder, and inside this folder is my R project here. And I saved the wage file here, and then this is the RMD file that I was using a while ago. And what I did was I closed it first. I saved it here, so that if I open this one, so let me reopen this. Okay, so this is the file as I was working on, and okay, why is it not inside the project? Okay, let me close this. Okay, let me just open this project. Okay, so I opened the project, class, and inside the project, I have the files here. To take a look here. Okay, and I'm going to use this. Okay, this one, Intro to Regression, January 25. This was the file we were using a while ago, and my wage data is here. I open this there. Okay. So let's go back to here. All right. So now, this is the first time we will be loading data to our R markdown. So the function is read underscore CSV. Okay, read underscore CSV, and then we put in quotes the name of the file. Okay. Now take note, I'm not identifying in which folder or in which file this data is coming from. And the reason is, as you know, is that it's already inside our project. Otherwise, class, if it's coming from a different file location, then you should be identifying where the file location is. Okay, and that makes the process quite more difficult because you have to find the file location. So it's best to create a project and put your data files there. That way, one advantage is that it makes the access to your data very simple. Take a look at this. I'm just using the read underscore CSV. If it's an Excel file, then we can also use a read either .xlsx or _xlsx Excel file or other files. You can R can read SPSS file, Stata file, even Python files. Okay, it can do that. In this case, the data that's given is CSV, comma separated values. So we just write what the name of the file is, and it can easily detect this one. So no need to identify the file location. And then here we can write column names is equal to true. Okay, column names is equal to true. So it means that our data has it's a data frame. It has column names. If we don't write this, then it's okay because this is also the default. So that's one way of writing, of getting of accessing your data. Another way is this one, class. You can go here. Okay, if you take a look at this one, it's import dataset. So if I click this, okay, so uh, what type of data is it? In our case, it's a CSV file. Okay, so we can use this from text and then base. So if I click this, okay, so the default is that it will go to our project. But suppose it's in another. Let me go to another file location, for example. So if I'm going to look for it in another location, just to illustrate this, let me see. I have this one. Wala dito. Okay, let me just go to another location for purposes of example. Just to tell you that if this is, okay, maybe here. Here, okay? I'll click this. So I went to the file location and looked for the file, selected the file, and then open. Okay. So what happened, class? So this is the file. Okay, this is the file. And you can see that these are the values. You have here the name of the variable, education, experience, tenure, etc. Okay. And then we can give it a name. What name do you want to give it? I'll just call it wage, but you can choose any other name. For example, data. Okay. And then you have to click this. Our data set has heading. Okay. It has headers. Okay. Otherwise, if there are no headers, then click no. Okay. So it's CSV, comma separated values. And then here you have the choice strings as factors. We will not check that now. Okay, I'll explain what this means later on, what these strings as factors mean. And if I click this class, import, all right, what happened? We now have this class. We now have this. When we imported, take note, there's now this object called wage. This was the name that we gave it to when we were importing the data set. And okay, take a look at this. Take a look at this, class. So this one is the lang class. Take a look at this class. So this is the name of the object we gave it to. And then the function is read.csv. And then take a look at this. It identified where the location of that file is. Diba? It's from, in my case, it's from C, and then users, admin, desktop, and then this folder, and then this subfolder, and then the file. Okay? So you notice that it's quite a long name, okay? Kasi in-identify pa yung file location. Okay, but if it was in the if it was just in the same folder, okay, ito lang yung class, no? Read underscore CSV, then ito lang. Okay, sandali lang class, sorry. I'll just pause recording. All right. So were you able? Did you see, class, a difference between saving your data file inside your R project as against putting your data file elsewhere? Okay. You see the advantage of having your data set and organizing your R project, your work in R as an R project. Okay. So kita nyo yung difference, ano? Ang layo, no? Okay, did you get that, class? Kindly please chat if you got it. If you now understand the purpose of having your work organized as a project. Comment please, class. Okay. Thank you, Aliana. How about the others? Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you so much. Then let's proceed, class. Now notice when we imported the data set, automatically it generated this, no? In our environment window, this appeared, wage. And then we have also this view wage. Okay, and you know what happens when we view a particular data set? So this is our data. It consists of showing 1 to 8 of 526 entries, which means that there are 526 observations and 8 columns there. All right. Now, okay. I'd like you to first, I'll give you a minute, class. I'll just answer a knock on the door. No? Sorry about that. Okay, so I hope you have copied this. This one, class, view wage. We know what happens if we view the data set. Okay, view wage. There will be a tab here where. Okay, sandali may question dito. Frederick, kindly share your answer to everyone, please. Frederick. Okay, I got this error when I tried running wage. Character use spec to retrieve the full. Okay. Sige, let me stop sharing. Okay. Could you kindly stop share ako? Could you kindly share your screen, Frederick?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, ano sabi? Wage 500 delimiter. Double. Use spec to retrieve the full column. Okay lang naman to. Column specification 8. You have delimiter niya is comma. And then character, yung race, gender, civil status, character variables. Double yung education, experience, tenure. Use spec to retrieve the full column. Okay, so that's not an error. That's not an error. So meron ng wage sa data mo sa ilalim, di ba? Okay. Can you click yung wage data sa ilalim? Click the spreadsheet there. Yan, sige, click mo siya. Sige, yan, tingnan mo, di ba? So 526 entries. So okay, walang problem with Fredrich. It just gives us information about the type of variables. Did you get this also, class? This message from your end. Thank you, Fredrich. Thank you. So nothing wrong there. Okay, how about the rest? Did you get the same message, class?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, curious lang po, how come sa inyo po, like automatic nag-load na yung spreadsheet?
Sorry. Sa ano?
How come sa end niya po, like yung spreadsheet is automatic na po nag-load?
Sa case ko,
Yes, sir.
ito ginamit ko, import dataset. Ito. Did you use this?
No, sir.
Try, ganito gawin yung class, try saving the wage dataset in another folder. Okay, in another location. Wag dun sa our project natin. So put it in another location. Gawin yung siguro Regression1, no? Para ibang file. Tapos pag nag-import dataset kayo, class, and from text, okay? From text, 'di ba? Hanapin niyo kung saan niyo linagay, okay? Look for that wage dataset where you saved it. And then i-open niyo siya, click niyo to, okay? And then what will happen is ito, no? Isasama na niya dun sa yung view wage. So itong syntax na to, class, when you do this, ito, okay, so ano ginawa ko dito kanina? Ito, no? FINARTS. Hindi. So di ba what I did was I went to another location, I think here. Hindi. Saan location ko linagay? Ito. Yan, tinan nyo, class, ha? Ito. So this is stored in another location. Yan. So this is what will happen if you use this import dataset. Ito yung interface niya. So I'm going to give it another name. Kunyari, Regression1. All right? Regression1, heading yes. Okay? So okay ako. When I import this class, import. Okay, tingnan nyo, class. Kasama dun sa code dito, yung view. Okay? So automatic na sinama niya. So that's how I got this automatic na view. In your case kasi, you use this, di ba? What did you use, class, for your wage data set? This one, diba? Read underscore CSV. Okay, so did that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sige. Any other questions? Thank you, class, for the questions. Keep them coming. Keep them coming because these are opportunities for us to learn. Okay, good. All right, so clear sa atin yung view wage. Now, what about class? Okay, similar lang siya sa structure, pero tingnan natin, class, yung class na function, class wage. All right, so it tells us anong klaseng structure to. It's a data frame. Take note, class, yung exam nyo, kasama tong concept ng data frame. So be sure to review what a data frame is. Panoodin yung class yung video and follow along. So it's a data frame, and then we already know what will happen to structure, class. So pag structure, di ba, it gives us a definition or it tells us more information about the data. This one. So this is a data frame with 526 observations, 8 variables, and then these are the variables there: education, experience, tenure, race. Notice, class, that there's a $sign here. It means, class, that this object, education, can only be accessed via the object wage. Okay, so let me give an example. Let's go to our console, and suppose let's get the average. Okay, okay, so let's get mean of experience. Can we get the average of experience? Control Enter. Okay, what does it tell us? The object cannot find experience. So how can it get the mean of an object? R cannot find the object experience. Why? Because in your data class, in our data, we don't have experience here. All right? So R will not understand what experience is, but it will understand what wage is. So this tells us that if you want to get, let's say, if you want to get the average of experience, what you do is mean, and then you have to identify the object. The object is wage, and then $sign there. And then if I type $sign, then it will give us what are found in your wage object. So wage dollar. So you have here experience. Click experience and then control enter there. So I was able to get the average of experience. So this is the meaning of the $sign there. That's okay. It means that it comes from this object called wage there. And it tells us that education is an integer. Race is character. Okay, take note, it's under quotations. Gender is also character, civil status, etc. So these are your number of dependents and hourly wage. So these are your variables. All in all, there are 526 observations of 8 variables. So it gives us very important information about our data set. Okay, kindly chat please if it's clear so far. Any questions about what I just discussed? Okay, thank you. Sir Mercado, thank you. Janelle, thank you. Okay, good. How about the others, class? All right, okay, Queena, again, share your comment to the others. Okay, so Queena, kindly share your, stop share ako. Kindly share your screen, please. So according to Queena, in her case, in the structure, it shows number instead of integer. How about in your case, class? Queena, can you kindly share your screen? Okay. All right. Number nga, ano? Okay. So, I'm not sure why it's registering number. Okay. Number. How about the others, class? So thank you, Queena. Let me share again my screen. How about the others? Did you get integer or numbers? Numerical. Comment please from the class. Namden. Okay. Thank you, Raul. How about the others? What are you getting? Integer or number? Hello, class. Kindly check, please. The results of the structure. Okay, kasi sa akin yung education experience tenure, it registers as integer. Okay, hourly wage, numeric, tapos ito integer. Sa iba integer. Okay. All right. So may conflict tayo dito, no? Iba identifies it as numerical. But don't worry, class, no? I think it's but we all were using the same no? The same file. So I don't know why that's happening. Can you send the code here? Which code? Isa lang yung code natin. Ito lang. Diba? Ito lang yung code natin. So this is the code that we use. All right. So anyway, class, ganito yan, ano? There's a difference between integer and numeric. Okay? NUM, in my case, hourly wage is numeric. And the others are integers. Don't worry, class, because the distinction is not material. Okay? Not material. It will only be material if it's important, if the variable should really be integer. Okay? Kasi ang difference sila, integer class will not take on a decimal value. Pag numeric, ibig sabihin, pwede siyang mag-decimal. Okay, so for example, number of dependents, it's in my case, it's integer. It means it cannot be 2.5, it cannot be 3.2, etc. Ano lang talaga siya, no? Whole number lang, hindi siya pwedeng, hindi siya pwedeng magkaroon ng decimal. So, pwede bang i-convert yung integer to numeric? Pwede, madali lang yon, class, no? So, for now, class, don't worry about that. Hindi tayo concerned kung yung variables na nag-appear sa inyo, it's integer or numeric. Okay? Later on, when we deal with some data which should be integer, tapos naka-numeric siya, pwede natin i-convert. Or integer siya, tapos dapat numeric, pwede din natin i-convert. So walang kaso muna yan. No? But thank you, Queen, for your question. That's a very good question. Okay, so, okay, let's go here, class. No? We have loaded the dplyr package. Okay, so we can make use of this glimpse function. Okay, so this tells us that there's a function called glimpse, and it comes from the package dplyr. So what are we doing here? What am I doing here is we are doing some descriptive statistic analysis. We'd like to understand more our data. So this is now part of your EDA, which we call EDA. It's exploratory data analysis. Okay, let me write that here. EDA, which is exploratory data analysis. And part of EDA is descriptive statistics. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're examining our data, looking at the structure, the type of data. Okay, and let's use this, the glimpse function from dplyr. You should have the dplyr already loaded, installed and loaded. So if I run this, all right, so let's see what happens. The glimpse function will give us this one. Okay, so it's also like it's just like your structure function. So rows 526, columns 8. Okay, and then you have the type of data, education. In my case, it's integer. All right. So what are you getting, class? Are you getting the same input? For Queen and the rest, does it still say numeric in your case, or was it changed into integer? Okay, double na, no? Double. Okay. So ganun din yung class, no? Numeric kasi, numeric can be, okay, let me write it here. Ang numeric can either be integer or double. Okay? So integer is also numeric class. However, integer does not take on any decimal place. Double class is this is the one that takes on decimal places. In my case here, hourly wage is double. You can see that the values are with decimal places. The others, integer, no? So numeric din actually to, pero particularly integer siya. Okay, double is also numeric, but it takes on decimal places. All right, clear tayo, class? Clear? May I have your feedback, class, if we're clear so far? Do we understand what double means? So take note, class, integer and double are both numeric. The only difference is that, integer does not take on a decimal place, while double will take on a decimal places. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your feedback. All right, so let's now take on, we already did summary before. right? It will give us a 6-number summary, first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, the mean, the minimum, and the maximum. So let's do this for wage. Okay, so since we have 6 variables, then we have 6 summaries here. And you notice the difference. So for the ones that are numeric or integer or double, we can compute for the minimum, the maximum, the first quartile, the second quartile, third quartile, and the average. So education, experience, tenure, okay, and here also the number of dependents and also hourly wage, since they are numeric. The 3 others class, race, gender, and civil status, they are both character variables. Okay, so we cannot, of course, we cannot have any computation of the minimum, maximum, etc. So they will only have the count, no? Length, ilan siya, no? Ilan. Length, 526, 526. Okay, so we did the summary function before, right? So this is not something new to you. All right, then, okay, we can make use of table. Table is a very important function, especially when we're dealing with categorical variables or character variables. Kasi yung character variables class, for example, si race. What are the different types of races ba? If you take a look at the structure here, balikan natin yung structure. No? Ayan. So it tells us that si race, character siya, you have white and non-white. Si gender, female and male. Si civil status, single and married. So we'd like to see the cross tabulation, okay, of race. Okay, so the function there is table. Okay, and then we have to identify wage. Remember, class? If we just run this table and race, control enter, error yan, class, no? Because the race object is not found in your data. It's not here. R will not understand that. So you have to identify where that object race is coming from. Control Z. All right, so let's run this. Okay, for that matter, let's run everything, class. Okay, so it's table. This is the function. And then you have to identify, class, the object, which is your wage, and then $raise. So $gender and $civil status. Control enter, and there you go, class. You can see here the tabulation. So for race, there are 54 non-white and 472 white. For female, 252, 274. For married, 320 and 206. All right. Now, if we try, class, why don't we try table and then wage and then education, for example. Now, education is a numerical variable, class. Okay, what will happen if we ask for the table of education, which is a numerical variable? Control enter. All right. Tingnan nyo, class, no? Ito. So, breakdown din siya. So, ibig sabihin nito, yung may 0 education, 2. Yung may 18 years of education, 19. Yung may 12 years of education, 198. Yung may, so ang pinakamarami, no? Yung 12 years of education. Ito yung median, no? Dito banda, 198. Sorry, hindi median, no? So, more of the average to, no? Yung median is yung nasa gitna. All right. Okay? So that's when you have in my case, a integer. How about if it's mas grabe kung ano, class? Wage, $sign. Paano kung ano, yung HR wage, no? Eh, ito may mga decimals, no? So let's see. O, di ba? Mas magulo yan, no? Kasi ang daming increments ng decimals eh. You can see. Ang ginagawa niya, hinanap niya yung lahat ng 13.33. Di ba? So, isa lang yun. Ilan yung 13.7? Isa. Ilan yung how many were ito 11.25, there were 2. Okay, ilan yung 9? 3. So nag-frequency count din siya. Pero yung table function class, it will be more useful for categorical or character variables. All right. Okay, kindly chat please if we're okay so far. Are we clear so far, class? Okay. All right. So let's now perform yung kanina data summary pa lang yun, ano? Let's now perform some descriptive statistics. Now, in the interest of time, i-share ko na lang tong code na to. No? So I want to reach a certain place. Control C. And then let me share the code so that you can just copy it and then let's just focus on the result. All right. So first, we're going to use a site package. Take note that we have already installed this site package. Under the site package, we have the describe function. Okay, so let's run this. What happens if we use the site package, in particular, the describe function coming from psych, okay, to describe the wage. Now take note, class, you notice that in this case, HMISC and psych, which are the packages, they have the same function, describe. Okay, so in cases like this, you will have to define which package you want to be using. Kasi pareho silang describe eh. So ibig sabihin ng class, some packages will have the same functionalities. Okay, so if you try to, sabihin natin class, tanggalin ko to ha. If I remove this, and then just run this, describe wage, okay, what happens? All right, so sabi dito, could not find the function describe. Okay, bakit kaya? Bakit kaya? Sige, ibabalik ko muna yung ano Control C, Control V. Sorry, Control Z. Then let me revert back to the original function, psych, and then describe. If I run this, nag-run siya. Nag-run siya. Kasi in-specify natin class kung saan galing yung describe na yun. Kasi may ibang packages na linode natin na so nagkakaroon ng conflict. Okay? So what do we have here? It's a data frame here, class, description data frame 8 by 13. So ibig sabihin 8 rows and 13 columns. Okay, 8 rows and 13 columns. Ano yung mga columns natin? Andito yung variable, double siya, no? Well, ano lang naman index lang to, no? 1 up to 8. And then n, which is the count. Double din siya. Mean. Education mean, okay? All right. Now dito class may values yung ano, diba? May asterisk siya, ibig sabihin nito, character variables to. Pero nag-compute pa rin siya ng ano, ng mean, no? So ang ginawa niya, parang ginawa niyang 1 yung isang factor, tapos yung 2 hindi, kinuha niya yung ano, yung kung ilan yung 1 factor, tapos kung ilan yung 1 factor, tapos in-average niya. So walang meaning to, no? So yung mga character variables na to, walang meaning yung mean niya, standard deviation, median, etc. Okay? Ang may meaning lang dito yung mga numerical variables. So meron tayong median, we have the trimmed median, a minimum absolute deviation, a minimum value. So you have the maximum value, the range, the skewness, kurtosis, and the standard error. So we have some pretty some good numbers here of your descriptive statistics, no? And then yung range, which is just the highest minus the lowest, maximum minus the minimum, and the skewness and the kurtosis, which are also measures of central tendency, okay, and the standard error. All right. So it's your role, class, to review kung ano tong mga ano na to, yung range, madali lang naman yan. Pati yung skewness and kurtosis, kindly review them, and the standard error. Because we will not go back there. Kasi the assumption is that you should have already taken that in your basic statistics. All right, so let's go here. Ito naman class, yung coming from HMISC naman. Pero describe din class, no? So you will see the difference between the output coming from the HMISC package versus the site package. Control enter natin to. Okay, you can see the difference in the output there. Okay, so how does HMISC come up with the describe function? Okay, so we have this wage, 8 variables, 526 observations, and then take a look at this. Okay, so ano to? So medyo mahirap kung ano, no? But these are just N 526. May missing value ba? Ilan yung distinct value dun sa education? Okay, so ibig sabihin, ilan yung magkakaiba? Then you have this, I'm not sure what this information mean, okay? And then you have the mean, and then the median, and then this is the fifth percentile. This is the 10th percentile, 25th percentile. This is the median. Hindi pala median to. No? Ano ba ibig sabihin ng GMD? So I have to check, no? What GMD is. This is the median. Itong 0.5. 50th percentile. This is the 75th percentile, etc. Hanggang 9th percentile. Okay, and then you have here, ito yung mga values niya. 0, 2. Okay, so may 0 daw, may 2, may 3, may 4. So lahat yan, yung mga distinct values na yan, lahat siya, distinct 18 lahat yan. Sabi dito, 18 distinct values. And then you have your frequency. Okay, ilan yung sa education may 6? 6 daw yung frequency niya. Di ba ang pinakamarami yung 12? 12, there are 198 observations with 12 years of educational experience. That's yung proportion. Ilang percent siya ng whole sample. So ito yung 12, 37.6% of the number of respondents had 12 years of education. Okay, and that's done for every variable. Education, tapos ito, ganun din si experience. Ganun din class. No? Ganun din. So si tenure, ganun din. Okay, so si race, now race is a categorical variable, character variable. So wala siyang, ito maganda dito kasi wala siyang descriptive statistics. No? Sinabi lang niya yung levels, yung factors, non-white and white. Ilan yung non-white, 54, ang white daw 472. Ilan yung proportion? 10% are non-white, 89.7% are white. Okay? So ganun din yung iba. So when you understand this one, makukuha mo na rin yung yung iba. All right? So let me just finish this. So scheme R naman meron din using the scheme function. So scheme natin si wage, and then what do you get? Okay, iba naman yung binibigay niya, no? Okay, so ito, you have your variables. Okay, tapos, dito yung mean, standard deviation, minimum, first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, maximum, and then you have your histogram here. Okay, so ito yung kakaiba dito sa scheme. May histogram siya, may distribution siya ng data natin. Okay, and then, okay, so distinguish siya between the categorical variables, race, gender, civil status, and the quantitative variables ito. So tatlong windows dito, di ba? Ito may summary. Okay. So dito sinabi niya ilan yung character variables, ilan yung numeric. Okay, ito yung summary ng categorical. Meron pa dito. And ito yung summary ng numeric variable. Okay, and then this one, last class, galing sa desk tools. Okay, So this one, I'm just getting the description of one variable. Tingnan natin to from using the desc function. All right. So medyo ano no, medyo tingnan nyo, very may plots pa, no? Tingnan niyo to, di ba? May plots pa ng ano, distribution ng hourly wage natin. Okay, tapos may box plot pa dito. And then ito yung cumulative distribution function. Right? So si ano naman si desk ng desk tools medyo ano, medyo iba naman yung mga binibigay niya, no? All right? So what if we just get the desk of the full data? Okay, marami to class. Lahat ng variables gagawin niya. Okay? Yan. So what about the ito race, no? Ito yung box plot niya, dalawa lang. No? Isa yung white, isa yung non-white. Okay, so let me pause for a while, class. Any questions so far? Clear ba? Sige, ano ko yung ano. Are we clear so far, class? Okay, I would appreciate some feedback from your end, class. Kung okay ba yung pace ko? Am I going too fast? Okay. Well, thank you so much. All right. Although hindi tayo naka 100% na ano no na feedback. Okay. Ay, may nag-comment dito. O nga pala no, yung exam. Okay. Yeah, thank you Glenn for asking. Okay. Sandali ha. I'll ask you class. Gusto niyo ba sa Monday na exam o gusto niyo tuloy tapusin lang natin itong ano na to? Next week, Monday and Friday para matapos na tong file na to. And then next Monday na tayo mag-exam. What's the pleasure of the class? Exam na sa Monday, saka na lang natin tapusin. So I was expecting that anyway. Sige. All right. So no, sorry I'll stop recording.